Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we dig in deep to analyze the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe 1 minute at a time. I'm Andy Nelson from thenextreel.com.
And I'm Pete Wright, also from The Next Reel.
We are at the very beginning of the whole MCU ride, looking at Jon Favreau's 2008 film, Iron Man. And back with us today, we have Joe and Andrew Darowski. Hey, guys.
Thank you for having us back.
We are thrilled. We are thrilled to have you. We're today looking at Iron Man Minute 103. On today's show, the minute starts with Pepper finally telling us that her key's not working. It's not working. That's what we didn't know.
Oh, man.
And
we were close.
I know. We were waiting.
That green guess by Pete.
The key is, I swore it was green or bouncing.
Or something.
Or even in her hand.
And it ends with Rhodey saying, "Next time, baby." Oh, not for you, Terrence. Not for you. Sorry.
Awkward.
Yeah. Oh, so we finally get to see. Okay, so what do you guys think of this scene? This is where we have Pepper, kind of the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reveal this whole secret thing they have. The door's not working. Agent Coulson kind of does that great little he just holds his hand up. The agent behind him puts this thing in his hand. And then Pepper kind of plays it up like, oh, what is that? What is this going to do?
Do you think Coulson and that guy practiced that? It's like, okay, if I hold my hand up, give me the door bomb.
I really like it. Does Pepper come off as just a wee bit too daffy in this sequence?
A little bit. It's a little bit like, you don't know, these are government agents.
Yeah.
It's not all, and maybe she's coming from a tech company perspective, and so she would think, oh yeah, they're going to hack it.
Right.
And instead of the more directive approach.
I don't think her guess is bad. I don't think the guess of saying, oh, this is something that's going to lock the door is bad, but the delivery does. I think that's when maybe it feels a little daffy. I laugh at it. It is funny, and it's a great comedic moment. But when you look at it just from the character of Pepper, it doesn't feel quite in line with the the put together person who is actually basically running the company at times.
Yeah, but then her physical performance of getting away from the door and plugging her ears, she obviously gets it immediately.
Yeah.
It's this is a bomb.
Yeah, and she plugs her right. All of that works really nicely. It actually is really. I think I agree with you guys. She's almost over the top with it, but I end up buying into it. I end up finding her really cute. The way she kind of moves away from the door as quickly as she can in her high heels. Mm-hmm. It all kind of makes me laugh, and I don't know. It's one of these things where it's it could have crossed the line, but for some reason it works for me.
Well, and just her sort of physical curiosity, right at where she's peeking over his shoulder at 5 seconds in, she's looking over his shoulder. What's that? Oh, you have a thing right there.
I think it's the what's that is a little too quaint for Pepper.
Yeah,
it's oh, you have something that's going to pick the lock. That would be a different take, which I think you could still get the laugh. It's oh, what's that little doohickey?
And then they blow it up. That's the laugh. We already have it built in to the effect.
And so if she had just said, it's oh, you have a device to pick the lock. And then he's not exactly. And she gets it and leaves. It's okay. Yeah. I think that still works. And it doesn't seem to put so much question on Pepper's perception of reality.
Well, I'm wondering if some of our reaction to Pepper is because it is contrasted right there on screen with this absolute stoicism of Coulson and the other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. It makes it feel more exaggerated than maybe it was during the performance.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, because it's very much, it's making her seem inept, but it's also making S.H.I.E.L.D. seem really cool and high tech, right? It's that balance between the two. And
I've got to say, though, as far as cool looking at 10, 11 seconds, when you see Coulson fold his arms, everyone else has got their arms on their wrists in front of them, and he folds his arms, but he doesn't tuck his hand quite right. And so it's you gave up on folding your arms there, buddy. What are you doing? Are you chilly? It just it doesn't seem like he's really folding his arms.
I'm watching it when I watch it frame by frame, I'm actually sort of okay with it. But when you watch it at full speed, it's like he walks into position and then remembers at the very last minute, oh, I should totally fold my arms here.
Yeah.
And does the fold. And that's where he can't quite complete the move.
Yeah, he only puts his lower arm is just tucked under his elbow.
Well, it looks like he's trying to, like, as he's walking up there, it looks like he's looking at his mark. He's like, okay, that's where I got to stop. And I get there. Okay, now arms up.
Oh, you definitely see his eyes spike the mark on the floor.
It's all like time. Because, I mean, they know that this thing is blowing up behind them. It looks like a physical thing is actually blowing up behind them. So, yeah, I think that they're trying to time this. Okay, got to hit the mark. Okay, arms up. It's like all of that.
But also, like, if you have a little device that's about to blow up the door and it's got like a 6-second timer and then it's just going to pop and that's it, do you want to fold your arms for that? That's not enough time. Like, I don't need to fold my arms to wait for that.
Right.
Maybe hands on the hip, but
so
I wouldn't put my hands in my pocket for that either. It's like, this is 3 seconds.
Right.
Well, and these guys, what I'm really enjoying right now is the flinch watch, right?
Yes.
Because they're supposed to be so stoic. As far as I can tell, we only have one who doesn't seem to flinch at all.
There's a lot of eye flinching that happens.
A lot of eye flinching.
Just a little quick blinks and stuff. The one who really flinches is Jason. He was the one yesterday that we were keeping our eye on, who's getting all excited. He's like, oh, look at that big arc reactor. This is his first day on the job. And he's the one on the back left. And it looks like he totally gets nailed by something because he really flinches. Like everyone else
shrapnel, is clips his leg or something.
Do you think he's going to have to sit out the next bit of action because of that injury? He's like, oh, guys, go on without me. I got to go get this looked at.
That wouldn't be a bad thing for old Jason to take a knee on this one. The guy on the far back right, who's he? Who's kind of looking down because he seems to really hold it together.
That is David Castillo. Yeah, he's pretty solid.
He is. He's an exceptional non-flincher.
Oh, you were right. I just rewatched it. I don't know how many times I've watched that moment now during this discussion, but he definitely holds it to the best.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
Hands down. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's going from tiny blinks to a full flinch. I think that this is a pretty fun little moment to kind of watch over and over, or just kind of scrub through and see who has the big reactions and who doesn't.
There is one other big reaction that we see immediately after.
Yes. We need to talk about this cut. We really, really do. Because yesterday we talked about the fact that when they walk up to this door, through the window in the door, everything is very brightly lit. And there's a white and yellow painting on the other side, or some sort of wall on the other side. And here, the door blows. And then we have a cut from the other side. The walls are now basement green, at least this lateral wall here.
No. There's stairs on the other side. They're going to go downstairs. Yeah, they got to go downstairs to get to Obadiah. Yeah, he's in the basement. They are not in the basement.
He is
They're
in
on the
basement.
first floor.
That's what I mean. I know that. But what I'm saying is this cut is super deceiving because when you look at it like this, it looks as if he looks right over at the door, which just blew open, right next to him.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a straight shot.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha.
It's not, something is awry.
I always took it like he's looking down the hallway at a noise down there.
All right, I have a question.
But yes, I can see your point.
I agree with the cut issue. But the backlighting behind Stain in this cut, what is the light bouncing off of?
Is it the water source?
That is giving that...
Yeah, I was going to ask this too. What is the water source in this basement?
Is it flowing sewer water?
I know. This is what we were... Yeah, because this was in the earlier minutes.
Is he underneath a pool?
Why is there... Well, no, there's something over there and the light is hitting it and reflecting it up onto the walls all around him. Because even in the next shot, you cut to the next shot where you see the ironmonger behind him, there are water reflection marks all over the walls, through the whole basement.
I feel like this takes after a nuclear power plant, right? Where we're underneath, the whole hot part up at the top, and this is the water cooling bath. It's the whole thing sits on top of a giant water cooling mechanism.
And they don't have that locked down. They just have it with metal grate flooring over it. What if somebody drops stuff in there?
Look, man, I'm looking for something.
That's right.
But yeah, this is absolutely definitely water. Because I'll reference a previous job again. I worked as a lifeguard. I know what it looks like when water is reflecting against a wall. And this is definitely what that is. But Yeah, why?
Yeah.
Well, and I know that Jon Favreau was really wanting for this whole bit to kind of do like a little Alien homage, and it feels that way. And I guess to that extent, I would argue, okay, in the scenes in Alien when they're trying to find the cat in the room and there's all the chains and the water dripping down, none of that really makes sense either in the spaceship. Like, why is all that there? Who knows? But it works because Ridley Scott's doing it in Alien. Okay.
It also made me think of the Kenneth Branagh Frankenstein. I remember in a film class just seeing the mad scientist lair, and like the teacher was talking about the depth of the like how every like few feet there's something interesting in the eye. Like there's just so much depth to that lab, and when we start to see like the shot with Ironmonger right behind the shoulder, and there's the pillars, and then there's the weird iron, what do you call those? Like iron strut supports that are sticking up. Like there are interesting layers visually that just keep going back beyond the Ironmonger armor.
Yeah, so to that end, there's a lot of interesting things to look at in the shots.
I just don't try and understand why the water lighting is there.
Well, yeah, and I guess I mean, to Pete's point, I mean, if they are kind of patterning it after kind of a nuclear reactor sort of thing, I mean, you have this giant arc reactor upstairs. Okay, sure, maybe this basement area is where they keep all the cooling liquid, and it's for whatever reason kind of flowing under the grates in the floor. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess that's the reason why the water would be there. So I guess we kind of buy it.
One other option, we had mentioned that it felt kind of out of character for Obadiah Stane to have this kind of underdeveloped workspace when everything else about him is so perfect and refined. Perhaps this was his Zen water garden that he had to convert into a workspace.
Oh.
I like that.
And that's why he's really been losing it lately, is he hasn't had his self-care, his therapeutic water garden time.
I'm sure he has, just on the other side of this is a full-size Zen like sand garden and a rake, and he's drawing rake patterns in the set. I didn't think this movie could get more perfect.
Maybe that's what he was getting ready to do with the suit. He's prepping it so that he can go in the suit and go over there and rake the sand.
It's like
and rake.
Imagine the balance that he would feel mixing this advanced technology with this Zen stone garden.
I think in the suit, he doesn't use a rake. He lets the fingers of the suit run through the sand. And we get like slow close-ups of him like lifting the sand up and letting the sand run through. And it's the mix of nature and machine.
Yeah.
This demands to be seen on IMAX, you guys. This is a full format.
And so this might be getting ahead of things, but was that door the main access point to this lab? Like, did they have to drag all of the pieces of metal that they built the Ironmonger out of through that one door?
It's not very smart.
And then was he going to exit through that door?
Or is there a set of double doors somewhere?
You'd like to think so.
There's a water entrance. You have to enter and exit by submarine.
Joseph, I have some suspicions about what exiting through that door might look like.
Oh, no.
We'll see if maybe they reveal that to us.
I wonder.
But yeah, like what's the exit strategy?
Right, he's in a basement in a giant suit. Yeah,
shouldn't this be in a hangar with big doors that planes can move through?
Well, and they even give us the shot that is really confusing right around 18, right? We have him turn around and run back toward the Ironmonger, and you can see that the little hallway that he is in is shorter than the Ironmonger that he was just standing behind. This is the equivalent of a raccoon trap, right? I mean, he built the thing in a place that he can never get out of without massive destruction.
Well, we know he's crazy. So I guess that's just all part of it.
And maybe the massive destruction was the plan.
Maybe that's what his engineers were trying to tell him.
Really want that sequence. I want that sequence where he comes aware of it. I want him to like walk up to that like low clearance and just stop. I want an Ironmonger equivalent, of a forehead slap.
And then you just hear him muttering from the suit. Oh, man.
Wait a second. This doesn't fit.
If I pivot a little,
Dang it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like moving a couch.
Maybe if I get some buddies to come and we tip it over.
It's like, wait, if I rotate it this way and then I get, yeah, we tip it upright and then we can rotate it through the doorway.
Right.
Oh, Obadiah, what happened? What happened, buddy?
I do like there was a crosscut in an earlier minute that we didn't really talk about where well, I mean, we talked about, but not necessarily being the straight crosscut, where it was Obadiah putting the battery in to the Ironmonger suit, and that had to be the moment when Tony Stark, however he was doing it, was getting the replacement or the earlier version of his chest piece put in. And here we see Obadiah running to the Ironmonger armor, and then it cuts to Tony putting on the Iron Man armor. So there's some nice parallels there.
And we don't see Obadiah
Right.
getting into his armor. That is a nice parallel.
Yeah, and they do a good job of slowly revealing Ironmonger to us. We never really get to see, we only just saw it for the first time in the last minute, and it was from the back, and now we're seeing it from the front, but it's kind of out of focus in the background. So they're very careful with their reveals, which is nice. But it is nice. And then we do cut to this Iron Man suit. Now, is this the first time? What do you guys think of this? We've already had kind of these beauty shots of the Iron Man suit kind of coming together around Tony. And I feel like when I watch it, this is the one time where I'm really watching it and going, it looks more digital than real this time. Do you guys feel that way, or does it look like it's actually like a real suit coming on him here?
I mean, without having the chance to really compare, hard to say.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. You know, it's not the worst digital effects we'll see this week.
No.
And so without comparing it to the other ones, I think when he's going for his first flight and it's too shiny silver, that makes me a little skeptical. And this one has enough matte to the finish where it feels a little more realistic.
I feel like it's pretty good. I feel like there's a few things that always kind of I struggle with. Like I struggle with a few parts around the legs, and then when we get to the chest and we see kind of those few like little rib pieces kind of clicking into place, those ones never quite look right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they don't look right to me because of what's on the other side of them. Like there's in some of these little pieces coming together around him, I'm forced to say, like, where is his actual knee in there? It sure feels like there's so much machine that I kind of want to see like some sweats peeking through. But there's just so much machine. Where does his body fit?
That's the scale that's missing from him.
What percentage of the Iron Man suit, and I don't know, if that's applicable to this sequence in particular, but like what percentage did they have that's like actually hard surface that he is wearing? It's like 75%, right?
Because he's got the green suit under.
I think they put him in a red suit underneath so they could even hide the seams a little better.
Right. They built quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when we're watching it here, all of the pieces that are snapping in are all kind of like digital elements as they kind of move around. But I think for the most part, they had kind of built this thing. Now, but weirdly, like when I'm watching this, I also feel like when I'm looking at Robert Downey Jr.'s face, I kind of feel like his face is digitally in there. Like I struggle trying to go, is this really Robert Downey Jr. in this suit, or is it his double? And especially when he turns around after he blasts his car, he kind of walks over and we get him turning around. Like that face just looks digitally added in there.
Most of the time when you see his face with the open mask, I think that's digitally inserted.
Especially here. I mean, it's definitely like a digital insert there.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It is, and you can tell because when the mask slams down over his face, if you look at it frame by frame, he doesn't flinch at all. Like there is no flinching like our friends in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did when the thing blew. And this is right on his face. I expect him to say like, ow.
Or at least, register it.
Yeah.
Register it. Right.
Right. But it's still, 2008, I think for the time, it still is pretty mind boggling. And it is still cool watching this suit come connecting and all the pieces clicking and everything kind of making itself around him.
Yeah. It's satisfying.
It was cool, but now I'm obsessed with those rib pieces you pointed out. And I think it looks like the thing that feels off about it is it looks like they have to kind of like flex into place instead of moving on a hinge into place. And that's where I'm like, what is moving?
Right.
It squeezes a little bit.
Yeah. What motor is allowing that to happen that way?
Right.
But I do have to say, like, to compare to some contemporary films, it still works a lot better than a really complex Transformers transformation from the Michael Bay films. Yeah. Like, those were way too complex.
There are a lot of moving parts
to be satisfying, and this is about right.
Yeah, right. It still feels like, okay, I can see, the robot parts or the robot arms assembling it around him. I can buy that this is actually happening.
Yeah. Whereas with the Michael Bay Transformers stuff, it's like, okay, that's too much.
Yeah.
So many moving parts.
So many sharp bits of metal sticking out.
I'm sorry, were you talking about the transformations or just the films themselves when you said that's too much?
So we go from, Tony kind of as he kind of gets his suit on, built around him and everything, and he moves his car around. This is a really funny moment because we know a lot of time has passed since he was doing his trials with his Mark II, and he broke his ceiling. He fell through his house, crushed his piano, crushed his car. A lot more time has passed because he's now built the Mark III suit. He's gone over to Afghanistan and destroyed some bad guys over there. And he's kind of getting himself prepped. But now we know, okay, in all that time, he has done nothing with the damage that he's done. So he still has a hole in his ceiling. And obviously, if there's rain on the ground at Stark International, he's getting rain in the house.
Well, we established they're pretty far away. What, 4 or 5 hours?
Right.
As the car drives.
Sure. But still, it's like, what is this guy like? I know he's very focused right now, but still, like, he doesn't have a repairman coming. I mean, he's got the money to go do these repairs.
It's through what, like 4 floors?
Well, at this point, we know it's 2. at least the basement. He goes up into the main room where the piano is, and then he's out. Yeah, or was right. But it's like the garage is right there. The entrance leading out of the house that you flew out before is right there past your motorbikes. Why don't you just go out that way? Why do you go through this little tiny hole?
He knows how to exit.
Oh, dear. I don't know. It's the strangest decision.
Like, it does mean something that he's now, like, literally blasting away the race car that, was part of his earlier life. Like, this is the new... Even more so than any other point, I think this is like out of the belly of the beast. I'm coming out as a new person at this point.
Yeah,
and he literally destroys, just misses a part of his previous life because it's in the way.
Right. Sure. This is the metaphorical eruption.
But I feel like you could have done that and still gone out the other two. Like the big opening. Anyway, we do get the great moment here, though, when Rhodey, it's that final moment. Rhodey just kind of looking at it like, damn, as he kind of sees it. And then this was the moment that got big cheers in the audience when I saw it.
Huge.
Mm-hmm. He turns around. He sees the Mark II suit behind him on its chains. There's some chains in this basement, too. He sees the Mark II hanging on the chains over there. Next time, baby. It's a great moment, regardless of the fact that Terrence Howard disappeared from the whole franchise. It is a great moment as he looks over there and sees the suit hanging up.
And even before, I mean, obviously, we know there's going to be a large shared universe. This is one of the first like overt seeds that's being laid for future plans, whatever shape that all may take.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, there's the shield element as well, which, I mean, if astute people were paying attention and they caught that crazy acronym that Agent Coulson throws out there, they might have been aware of that. I was clueless from that. But certainly when we saw this suit, it's like, oh, this is exciting, especially it's like next time, baby. Very exciting moment.
Right.
And we did see Captain America's shield broken apart in another minute.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know that too many people picked up on that during the first viewing.
The right people
Those
did.
who spotted the geek shibboleth lying there.
The chosen people did.
The gatekeepers.
Right.
The true fans. Should we say it that way?
Yes, that's right. That's right. The true believers. The true believers.
Hey, look at that.
The superhero hipsters who loved superheroes before it was cool and $1 billion industry.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Joseph, you
right.
know that we both had shoeboxes full of those cards.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is how we had to get our fix on superheroes. We'd get those cards with the stats on the back.
Oh, all that good information.
And see how many different Iron Man armors we could pick up.
Did you guys have the what was Marvel's like the I can't remember what it's called, but the guide to all the Marvel characters? Did you have all those?
The official handbook of the Marvel Universe.
Official handbook. I've had a few volumes.
I mean, yeah, when I was growing up, that was before like everything was out in both like the essential volume and the trade paperback volume, and there were lots of ways to get those. But I may have had like an issue or two, but not like the complete 12 issues they did initially, and then they kept updating them.
And then they started doing the like character encyclopedias, so you could get the complete Spider-Man encyclopedia.
Get all the details on each of the characters. Yeah, those were great. I loved all those. Just reading through all the different characters and all their iterations. It was so much fun.
But then they came out with the internet, and you could just do Wikipedia.
Right. Then you have Marvel Wikia, and just, I mean, who needs those anymore?
Kids today do not know what it was like to try and figure out character backstory.
Well, and then like Marvel's website, before every fandom was getting its own Wikia, Marvel's website, had pretty much digitized those encyclopedia entries. And I do remember going through that and like reading character biographies where it's got like all of these stories. It's like continuity is crazy, and there's no way that they've done this in the technical Marvel 10-year rolling time frame. Like there's just too much adventure.
Right.
But if you had the internet and didn't necessarily have access to a lot of comics, that's where I was reading about the characters. Absolutely. You get on there and it's like, well, I'm into superheroes, so I'm going to get what I can get. And if I'm just reading summaries of their stuff and their power stats and all that stuff, it's like, it scratched the geeky itch.
Yeah, gave you that fix.
Mm-hmm. But now you got the movies.
Yeah, and all these different universes and everything too. And it's always it's interesting, kind of the way that Marvel has kind of done that, where they're balancing things out by creating just different, the different universes and everything, and how this, the comics are kind of 616, and this is, I think, what, 199999. I think that they've dubbed this universe.
Yeah, and then you can find the lists where they've got like all of the specifically codified universe numbers.
Right.
And I don't know how many official ones there are, but it's probably over 100.
Oh, yeah, because anytime they come up with a new thing in a line of comics, and, if it's working, they can keep it in 616. If it's not quite working, they can go, oh, that's in this universe.
Does every issue of What If spawn a new universe?
Not every single one. I think some of them share universes, but yeah, most of them would be their own.
Right, yeah.
The Exiles series or series,
because they were hopping around
that
different
word
dimensions.
Pluralizes. Yeah, those would all represent a variety, but some of them were bouncing through various what ifs. Yeah, so there's, all the movies, video games, every video game, I think, represents its own, unless it's a series.
That's a lot of universes. And I feel like we've only tapped the ice, just the tip of the iceberg as far as like looking at Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That we saw maybe, 6
or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many more. Let's see. Is there anything else about this minute? Oh, I had one more question for you guys. So Tony says, or Rhodey says to Tony, do you need me to do anything else? And Tony says, keep the skies clear. Do you think that he was like actually meaning, okay, call, the Air Force and make sure that nobody's up there?
There's no air traffic over LA right now.
Because I'm going to be fighting a bad guy and we're going to be making a big mess. Because Rhodey is a terrible listener. Like, he's just like, next time, baby. He looks at the suit and then, we'll find out what he does next time. But I don't think he's doing a good job at like following through with taking care of what Tony's asking him to do.
Or maybe he's just saying, Look, Rhodey, I know you have questions. Just don't do anything else, right? Don't add to the problems that we're trying to solve.
Just don't help.
Right. Don't help.
Don't
Stay
let
off
the Air
my
Force
side,
scramble jets.
Rhodey.
Is that what he's meaning?
That's how I look at it. No scrambling jets. Just don't encourage that.
Because I know the same Air Force post that sent jets after me in Afghanistan is going to be checking out LA.
Right. Right.
The exact same operations room with the exact
It's
same
the
staff.
same people. Yeah.
They're going to be looking for me here. So make sure that's okay. Like, the military has more than one base, right?
Not in this universe.
Only this
That's
one.
it. That's the one.
Which
For
is
Afghanistan and Los Angeles.
which is in driving distance from Tony Stark's house.
Of course it is. It's a lot closer than S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right. That's in the valley.
Oh, well, I guess that's it for today. We should wrap this one up and we can talk about more stuff tomorrow and figure out what Rhodey's going to do.
Sounds good to me.
Let's go for it.
All right. Well, again, thanks, guys, for joining us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. And I'm learning more about this film with every conversation we have.
So many things to learn. Do you guys want to remind everybody where they can find you out there?
Just another opportunity if you're interested in visiting Amazon. I have edited a series of essay collections on superheroes. So there are volumes out there called The Ages of Superman, The Ages of Wonder Woman, and so on for Iron Man, The Avengers, The X-Men, Hulk, I'm trying to remember, Justice League, and there's one coming out on The Flash and Black Panther soon. So if you're interested in a more academic look at the comic book stories of some of these superhero characters, you might want to go check those out.
Nice.
Outstanding.
Joseph, that's one each on Flash and Black Panther, right? Not a single volume covering both.
Because that would be weird. Yeah, that would be weird.
Yes. Yeah. No, I didn't combo those. Yeah. No, the Flash one is coming out soon, and the Black Panther one maybe at the end of this year, maybe early next year. We'll see.
You know what? I'm going to make it easy. I'm just going to go ahead and link to your author page on Amazon. How would that be? Would that be okay?
That would be great.
Look at all that stuff. When do you have time to actually watch movies and read comics?
The pace is slowing. I will say.
That's not what it used to be.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And you can find me at Disney Animation Minute Essentials in your various podcatchers.
Which just gets better every day you plug it.
Yes, retention requires repetition.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. Remember, make sure you subscribe to the show for free at marvelmovieminute.com. Join us over in our Discord chat room and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Next Reel. And if you like what we do and you want to support us and get some cool stuff, become a patron over at thenextreel.com/Patreon. Until next time, true believers.